Good morning, Ken. Good morning. Good morning, Randolph. Good morning. That's good. This party started for sure. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Happy Monday. Eventful week. last week, and this is the beginning of the May, excuse me, and we are about 2 minutes away from the cash market open. So let's take a look at the daily and see where we at. So the market overall still struggling. We're coming into the lows of that February, and we actually kind of broke it in Friday, and now we're over Globex. We actually hit it at 823 and bounce right back up. We are currently in and around Globex at 858.50. So if we break 858.50, we should start showing a bit of a bid to stabilize the market. So ultimately, from the long perspective, from the over longer term perspective, this is a negative behavior. But we may end up getting a pocket of buying interest sometime this morning, and we need to be aware that the market is not just directionally always short or always long. We may get both sides of the market. So if I dig a little bit deeper, um, I'm seeing the 200 into Rinko being positive. Okay, meaning that we are in a candle that it's up. If I dig a little bit deeper on the 100 NT Rinko, uh, the market is long as well. But if we break 830, the market is between the 200 and the 100 is disconnecting. The overall trend on the 200 is negative, with the cloud being short, and we are in and around target number 4. Target number 4 is 785 and a quarter. Target number 5 is 603. And here comes the cash market open. So what my plan is to be patient through the first half an hour of the day and give myself a little bit of time to understand the personality of the day. We have a full week ahead of us, and let's make some money, plain and simple, right? And let's learn who's getting trapped, how they're getting trapped. And here we go. I mean, we're not too far away from Globex right now. I got some stories to tell you guys. Once we settle down into this market, I had a pretty eventful weekend, um, and there are lessons in trading in them. But let's just focus on what is happening right now. So market needs to protect 842, 845, still holding on to that 42. Yeah. So everybody, everybody, just be patient. First half an hour, price action is always wild, and risk is typically um, okay. So here you go. You got a disconnect between the 200 and the 100 NT Rinko. So the market is in a consolidation phase, and ultimately two things need to happen. One is 880. If we break back to 880, the market is going to reconnect on the long. If the market ends up being 790, go to 793, quite a distance away, but If we get there, then the 200 and the 100 are in sync on the short side. So there's more bids coming in than, okay, here we go. Boom. See that how quickly that happened? So now the market is back in sync on the long side. And they put a captain setup short. Like, this is kind of wild how they're moving. And that's why we wait. We're not in a rush to take on a trade. Let the market settle down here. I think this thing is gonna potentially just run up past that 900. But I'm patient. I'm not gonna mess around with this. Again, 43 is critical level. If we come back down to that level, then that is a captain setup short on the 100 NT wrinkle. That would be a significant event because that would be a trigger for an actual rotation lower that could take us to 20 or the whole number 800. So yeah, I mean, here we go, and they look got us there. That's a captain setup short on the 100 NT Rinko. That is a significant event, and we may end up hitting 20. Like, I'm tempted to actually jump in on that, be honest with you, but I'm gonna give myself a little bit of time. Yeah, here you go, and here comes that 20, and we're most likely will see the 800 and fast and furious here. But that is, I mean, that signal, I could show you how many times that signal pops up. And it's usually a pretty, I mean, look at that bad boy. Captain set up long. We shot up over like 300 points. One, two, three, 350. So, I mean, major moves can happen from that type of rotation. So the shorts are trying to take hold right here. Yeah, good morning, Adam. Good morning, Brian. Good morning, Yanis. Oh, here you go. A whole number. Whole number. Damn. That's a winner. That's a winner. Multiple rotations lower, and we have a closure of the 200 NT wrinkle. Now that's going to set the stage for continuation trades on the short side, and we need to be looking for them. We saw the 100 NT wrinkle give us a captain setup short. We called it as a significant event, and we had a follow through in that behavior. Target number four is hit on the 20 on the 20 NT Rinko. Target number five is going to be 738. Yeah, I agree with you, Hayanis. That's a profitable setup, big time. Man, they really this captain setup is outdoing itself. It's selling. It is selling. All right, so the 200 and the 100 are out of sync. The 100 NT Rinko closed at 792, and that disconnected that market. So two things need to happen. Either we go down to 754 again, or we run up a little bit and sell off in and around the 820 area. As long as we do not go to 843. So if we need to stay under that level in order for the shorts to continue to rein in. Okay. So now 767, if we hit that level, we will be back in sync on the short side. So we have at 8:45, which is in 5 minutes, final manufacturing PMI, right? Oh, here we go. All right. So the 67 showing up. Let's see if we can get a bit of a rally here and go from there. Switch trade. See if they put a captain setup and run it up. Okay, that's what they're doing, which is to be expected. Here we go, disconnecting here, and we want to see if it reconnects, meaning that we need to get another transitional zone. Now, if the market decides to go to 805, which it just did, then that tells me I need to be patient longer, and I need to see either 68 happen one more time, and if that happens, you're getting another captain setup short on the 100 NT wrinkle, and that would be a significant event again. But if the market breaks the 815, then I am on a pause mode and waiting for the market to kind of figure out what it wants to do. And that's what it seems like they're trying to do here. I mean, look at this spastic behavior. Yeah, I mean, guess what? Look at that. The 200 NT wrinkle flipped back up. All right, sure, whatever they want to do. I mean, it's almost like a basing behavior. I mean, we are at target number four in this big wave of selling pressure, and we're coming at these levels, flushed everybody under it, and came back and put on a one candle reversal. So that's significant on the long side too. There you go, and it's just moving quick. Yeah, wow. Most likely we're gonna hit Globex and run right above it. It's important to define the environment, and once you in, like right here, We define the environment as we need to be looking for a short, but guess what? The market needs to kind of cooperate, right? Which means that we need to see a new transitional zone built up and none was built. So there's nothing for us to do. Then when the market does this, well, guess what? The market changed its personality. We'll change with it. Target number Globex was hit at that 92. Target number 4 was hit on the long side. Target number 5 is going to be 935. And let's see how fast we can get there. Now, the market is telling us that we need to consider the idea of pullbacks as a buying opportunity. And I'm taking the no action as the trade of choice. It's early and this market is all over the place. So look how, I mean, we literally hit the target number 5 to the tick at 935 and they faded it. That's fine. They put a captain setup short on the 20 NT wrinkle and they're reacting to that. Yeah, look at that. Wow. Okay. So now the 200 and the 100 NT wrinkle are out of sync. What does that mean? That means that we're not we're looking for the market to get back in sync before we act, and we have news coming up, right? We have news coming up, economic news. All right, now the market is back in sync on the long side. All right, and let's see what they want to do with this. Okay, I see what they're doing. I mean, they're playing with Globux right here. Yeah. So the market is in sync on the long side, but we want to see a transitional zone. They built one right here at 900, but you know, I'm electing to be patient here. I mean, obviously you don't want to see a 67 breakdown that would affect the price action. I don't have any trades done overnight and or See here, trades, trades. Here we go. These are the trades of the day, which are none. Yep, look at that bad boy. Here we go. Boom. So they established a new transitional zone right here and held. And guess what? That is target number two. So the market is becoming a bit more decisive in how it's behaving. They're holding on to the longs, and the longs are defending the dips, and we're trading above Globex. All of this is behavior that is consistent with a bid coming into the market. Market is disconnected here, and we are looking for it to reconnect back up. Well, and then they disconnected it one more time at 9:04. Well, guess what? So if we're anticipating another transitional zone, it doesn't happen, and the market does this. Well, there's no action. There's no action by me. Oh man, this is just a mess. If we break 67, here we go. The 200 and the 100 are back in sync on the short side. So it's here we go. So they shifted that cloud right here, not the cloud, but shifted that candle lower, and now they're in sync under Globex. So we're getting what they call a whipsaw price action, and this is the type of market that you have to be very nimble in how you trade, and especially since it's the morning session, an early morning session, and we have news coming up. Uh, if you want to trade this, trade it with a minimum amount of contracts and or under trade the volume. Don't trade often. Okay, so here we go. And now they're back in sync. And let's see if we can find an entry point on the short side here. That's a switch trade into a captain setup. Let's see how they're gonna handle the rally that they're doing right now. And let's see if they can put on another a little bit of pressure. Yeah, I gotta get something in my stomach. Guys, hold on one second, okay? Oh wow, they're putting a captain setup long here. That's something. Look at that. So you see that captain setup short? Market reacted. They're putting a captain setup long here. I bet you this thing. Let's see. Let's see if I can get in here. Let's see if I can get in. I mean, what will get me? Well, do you know what? Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. I prefer things to be in sync, but we got ourselves a captain set up long. I mean, I can cut down my size to like two contracts, and then take the next time the market gets back in sync on the long side, as long as we don't break below 66.75. Okay, come on. Oof. Damn, that was fast. That was fast. was looking for an entry point right here if the market kind of pulls back, but it didn't. Yep, that's fine. Let them do what they want to do here. It's early. I'll be back. Gonna get some water. Yeah, that was a good one, man. I saw that. Well, 44 44. It got to 44, right? Came back and retested, and and that was the entry right there with the switch trade, man. That was a good one. But that's fine. I mean, they're well. Guess what? I mean, look at that 100 NT Rinko. I mean, that is just two events today that were significant. That first event, which is a captain set up short on the 100 NT Rinko, and they now flipped it back up and gave us a captain set up long on the 100 NT Rinko. So the market is starting to build higher lows after that flush that they did earlier on. And on the 200 NT Rinko, you see that flush? They came back to target number four, flushed it, then reversed it, and continued to build up a base to price action. No trades for me. It's 8:58, and we'll just keep watching this till we find something that we want to play with. I feel like we have a good feel for what's going on today. So what needs to happen here is us protecting 30. If we break below 30, and 100 inch wrinkle is out of sync with the 200 right now, and they're coming. All I gotta say, they can dance all they want. I'm not picking up anybody here. I'm not dancing with anybody right now. Guess what? The 200 is now is sync on the short side. So this market is getting very violent around Globex, and all I gotta say is thank you very much. I am not playing. So the market is in sync on the short side right here, and if it gives us a one candle reversal, I'll take it. Oh, geez, here we go. Order filled. Target Thank filled. You. I took it and I took it too quickly. Yeah, because I had it on. All right, let's just do this. Thank you. We made a little bit of money here. That was fast, but that's what you're dealing with in this market right now. That's the crusher. Yeah, that's the one that I want. All right, let's see if I can get in with another transitional zone trade right here. And if they close this candle, I'll play. Nope, nope, they didn't do it. They need to come in here and close. Yeah, it's this market is all over the place, man. So my ATM will automatically get me in and get me out, and it trails me. So this basically the only decision I'm making was just the entry, because especially in a market that looks like this, it it's going to be quite fast decision making process for you to actually be able to keep up. So you have to have the work done for you by the ATM. So here we go again. The market on the 100 gets closes up, but the 200 is still short, and that tells me that the market is out of sync and we're trading in and around Globex. Now, if they close this candle lower, I'm gonna get aggressive on the short side, which they just did. Let's see if I can get a rally back up against that 900. That would be, they put a captain setup short on the 100 NT Rinko. So I am going to be looking for an entry point on the short side, and preferably when the market gets out of sync here and back in sync. Here we go. They're out of sync. I don't want to see price action. Oh yeah, here we go. Come on, baby. Let's go. Give me a chance to get in. Give me a chance. Put a switch trade here and I'll take it. Nope. Okay. Yeah, still not ready. They're not ready. They are not ready. Nope. And that is messy. That's damn messy right here. Okay, so that's 43. So basically, you don't want to see any price action above 43 because that will get us. Let's see if we can get in. All right, and let's see if I can get an entry point. A new transitional zone established itself. And let me see here. Order filled. Thank you. Come on, baby. Be the one. Nope. Nah. Oh, yeah. Let's see if I can get two here. Thank you. Thank you. Boom. And that is a winner. That is a winner. Captain set up short. 200 and the 100 were in sync on the short side. Everything lined up. We took it. Hardly any heat. Execution. I mean, I took the two contract a bit early, but it was just pausing here, and I was like, okay, well, I gotta make sure that I come out of this with something. So those two decisions we just made, we made 282 on one and 1360 on the other, and we are at 1642, and I'm done for the day. That's what we're doing today. Yeah, it just has to be a very well thought of ideas, and we had to be patient, and we just wait for the market to kind of line up in our favor in a way that we can understand and have statistical probabilities in that direction, and just take those shots and let the ATM kind of in a way work itself out. Good morning, Sheila. But those are the two decisions, and who, yeah, that's a bigger move too. That's a bigger move. So I always ask myself a question: is what would I had to do in order to stick around in this trade a little bit longer? and to so I could make a lot more money. And the key to this type of trading here is to kind of leave a trailer and have a condition of the transitional zone being violated and price closing above it. So that would have kept me in the trade all the way up to 64.75. And sometimes you see these type of behaviors where they go with one transitional zone all the way down to target number 4 and 5. So that condition can can be really good for that last trailer and outlier event, and we could just hang on to that trade for as long as possible. In this market today, I elected to just take my profit, and I don't regret it. It just we made money, and we're moving on. We're getting continuation trades here too. Same thing is happening in global in ES, right? We're getting captain setup. We're getting another transitional zone building up. Price action is struggling here, and we're getting a push. So this type of behavior is for anybody that's looking for a trend. This morning, they're getting clobbered, like absolutely clobbered. Trend traders are the ones that are getting stuck right now because the market is truly not trending. It's just giving you a pockets of shorts, pockets of longs. It looks persistent, but they quickly to fade it. And that type of behavior is notorious for trapping people. So I have to be surgical with how I handle this. I just gotta get in, get out, make my money, and just keep it moving. So right here, that was a good one, Yanis. Right? 200 and 100 were in sync, and they got us that one switch trade at that spot. Okay. Yeah, but that one gave you 5 points plus break even plus a bunch of other things. All right, all right, all right, all right. What do we do here? What do we do here is just you got captain setup short, captain setup short. You got yourself another transitional zone right here. They close this candle. If they close this candle lower at 1475, that would be an entry point for a short position. And you're looking for a scalp of, here we go. Let's see. Ooh, yep. Nope. That is interesting. Yep. You got to close lower. Otherwise, we're out. Here we go. Good, good. So 15, you got to get to 10. Here we go. Get to 10. No. So they're struggling here. Shorts are struggling. Okay, here we go. You gotta get to that 10. Wow. That is choppy. That is real choppy. That is real choppy. Yeah, you gotta break to 10. If you get to 10, then good, things can be good. Here we go. Okay, so break even plus 5, and your break even getting stopped out. Very choppy right here. So that's a good thing for me to hold off. Yep, very choppy. They seem to be trying to put a hold on this draft that the market is doing. So story time will be at 10 o'clock. I'll tell you guys what happened to me this weekend. There is a lesson in it for me more than anything else, but also there's a lesson in it for trading that is worth contemplating. So once the market settles down in and around 10 o'clock, and I hope you're not squeamish, and I'm giving you guys a warning. If you do not like the sight of blood or you are squeamish in any way, look away. All right. So they're out of sync again here. I mean, what do I need to do in order for me to get a little bit more clarity in this market? I mean, if we break down to 30 and 30, like 830 right here, then the 200 and the 100 are in sync on the short side. If they run all the way back up to Globex, which is 892, then they're in sync on the long side, and we're looking for pullbacks as a buying opportunity. So the market can do either or, and we will wait for the market to tip its hand before we participate. And I'm just checking with everybody. How is Mr. Adam doing? Brian, how are you? Making any? Sheila, how we doing today? Yanis, any trades? Ken and Randolph. All right. Okay. Key is to keep it small, keep it manageable, and staying emotionally balanced along the whole process. Ken, good morning, GM. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. I like those trades, Randolph. I like them. They're always good, aren't they? They always win. All right, so the 200 is still short, and the 100 is disconnecting from that 42. If we break 42, And here we go. The 200 and the 100 are in sync on the long side. Now let's ask ourselves a question. How many times did the market do just that today? It did it once, twice, three times, four times, fifth times, six times. Six times. The market reversed and re-reversed and reversed again in and around Globex. That is the definition of a tight consolidating market. And it is imperative for us to be cautious and in an environment that looks like that. And it's important for us to see it as it's developing and reacting to it and not understand the market after it's gone what it what we should have done. See what I'm saying? Like you're not like after a whole day of consolidation, you can't look back and say, "Oh well, that was consolidation, and I got chopped up." Well, that doesn't do me any good. I need to see that behavior in action, and put myself in a position to where I understand it clearly. Either take advantage of it or stay away from it. So we're seeing uh, a follow through here consistent with what we saw earlier on. We had a flip, a retest, and the market followed through with three candles lower. Now we flip back in and we have one, two, and potentially the third one. And if we get to that 69.70, that could set us up for an actual expansion away from this price structure, which a lot of traders are looking at this and they're saying to themselves, hey, listen, they flushed all the longs and got all the shorts in here, and now they ran it up, came and gave us a higher low, and now we're about to blow the top out of this consolidation into the 13,000 level. A lot of traders are thinking in those terms right now. So we want to know if those type of traders who are going to buy here or buy on the dips are going to get rewarded, or are they going to get rolled over in another leg of consolidation. So how would I know which one of these is going to happen? I have to come in here to the 20 NT Rinko, and I'm going to have to ask myself a question. It's like, okay, build another trend. Oh, we already hit target number 5. So that automatically right there, that tells me I need to pause from putting any orders right here. The second one is if they rebuild another transitional zone in an area that looks like this, how are they handling it? And it needs to be happening right here. Okay. So when they get to this zone and they build up the transitional zone and they start pulling back, how are they pulling back? And are we getting a one candle reversals or entries or a switch trade or a captain setup? We need a signal here. What happened if they just tank it and then they establish a new cloud negative? Then the 200 and the 100 are out of sync at 30 right here, and we're not participating, we're waiting. So these are the logic that I'm working through right now. Here we go. I mean, here we go. You got the transitional zone right here. Ideally, right when you get this, by that candle you're pulling back. That will give me the best risk reward ratio. I mean, they're putting a switch trade right here and there. So that one still working. That's it. Boom. There you go. That's a long. long and strong. And they're blowing through that whole number right now, and we're past target number five. But that was a good one right here. I like that new one, and it's still going too. I mean, eventually we're way above target number five, and typically they don't they don't take. I mean, they don't. They hit the wall after a nice little punch. Boy, that's a good one. Now there's a panic. They're panic buying now. I hope somebody picked this off. Brian, I mean Brian and Adam. Excuse me, Adam and Yanis. I don't know if he ended up getting into that. Excuse me, switch trade. Nope, nope. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I understand it was above target. I mean, between target number four and five, and typically those are an extended market, but nonetheless, you got a signal here. Well, here you go, Ken. Good for you. Good for you. At 303, the market is disconnecting, and we're getting a bit of selling pressure coming through, and we have a cloud that is negative, and rotation lower. Target number three is hit in the sequence. We will the 200 and the 100 will be back in sync at 67. So if we break 67, that will get us there. ES started a rotation. Actually, that rotation was a good one too, because we started that rotation right here with a switch trade and new inception of a new cloud, and also transitional zone, and we're getting a push toward Globex and ES at 43.75, and ultimately, from the bigger perspective point of view, uh, on ES, if we end up breaking that 44 level and continue to trade under it, that will set the tone for the rest of the day. And what it seems like the market is doing, and in the process of consolidating, they do two things. They tighten up the range, they expand the range, and but they keep the price in a in the middle as the day progress, meaning that you may get a fade here that could take us all the way back down to or close to Globex in NQ, and that would be consistent with that behavior. So it's important for me to only trade the market that is in sync, that showed the capacity to do multiple rotations in that direction, and not just jump in or speculate or think that the market is directional long or directional short. Uh, I'm not going to overcommit basically to this type of market. It is within its nature to have a higher capacity to trap this behavior. I mean, every day the mechanism is to trap people, but today has a higher probability of doing it. They got back in sync on the long side here. Let's see how that, if they build another transitional zone or not. That would be the cue that we need to kind of participate in it. Yeah, see, right here where we would have needed to see that new transitional zone happen, and they were not giving it. So no action. We don't. The market filtered itself out for us. And the 200 and the 100 are back in sync on the short side around a whole number 13,000. So we're looking for this transitional zone to disconnect and a new one build up. That's what we're looking for right now. No, the 200 and the 100 are in sync on the short side, man. Adam. So that's the 200 right here, and that's the 100 right here. So that is pointing lower, and this is pointing lower, and we're looking for a new transitional zone to build up. Well, right here. So you see that little gray zone right here that's building up. That's what I want to see. So right here, I want to see an actual signal though, meaning if they run it up, then run it back down. Well, here you go. Um, that would be a switch trade. What they've done here is an actually a spear trade, right? So that's what they went with on the 20, correct. So you're defining the environment, and that's very important for people to kind of see and understand. Is you are defining the environment. with the 200 and the 100, meaning both of them are pointing in the same direction. You're saying, okay, well, that's where I want to go long. I want to go with the market, not against the market. It's a spear trade. So spear trade is just basically um, the market establishes this transitional zone but never pulls back. It's just literally uh, one candle after the other in that direction. So that is the definition of a spear trade. What is the difference between, like, it happened here too. Okay, so what's the difference between it and this behavior? So the market flips the cloud and right at that zone gives you a switch trade. So that is a switch trade here versus a market that does not give you that behavior and just continues to move in that same direction. And that means it's a spear trade. Basically, it speared that rotation and continued to trade under. I guess that's the analogy that I'm using. But it's not a sphere, it's a spear. SPEAR. So, like I was saying before, you're using the 200 and the 100 to define the environment. To define the environment does not constitute an actual trade, it's just a statement of environment and direction. Then from there, you go on to the next step in the process. And it is a process. And we go in and we look at this 20 NT wrinkle to define an entry point. And typically, when the 200 and the 100 get in sync, I am looking for a fresh transitional zone, meaning that this wave of price action concluded with a close above the transitional zone, then the re-establishment of the transitional zone again. And this is a perfect example of what that would look like. Okay? But here, even when this happens, does not automatically constitute a trade. There's a selection process. And at the early stages of the development of this transitional zone, I am looking for a signal right here. And the signals we look for, one of the most lucrative one is a switch trade, meaning the market went up one candle, went down one candle in this case. And there's examples in here where that uh, happened. Or the market dips a little bit, go back to the middle of the range, and then give me a one candle reversal in the form of a trigger trade or railroad, or the one that I kind of a little bit more cautious of it is the spear trades, and this is the one that happened. So there's like about 3 4 signals that we look for exactly in this spot, and then measure our risk accordingly, and then take a trade. So spear trades, I mean, you're almost buying or shorting in this case at the bottom of that candle. So why am I cautious with it? Because now I'm assuming the risk of this candle and the risk of all this price action all the way from here to here, in order for me to know that this trade is not going to work out for me, or that I have a legitimate stop. And a legitimate stop is at this point. So now I'm taking 10, 20, almost 30 point stop in order to participate in that decision, versus the market ran up and then reversed right here. Now I reduced my stop to 20 points, and I can get away with taking a 10-point stop. So the decision you make here has a um, different risk associated with it in dollar amount and in points. So taking a spear trade will carry with it a little bit more risk than taking a switch trade or a railroad trade. So that goes now in the preference of the trader and his tolerance along with his aggressive, because some of these spear trades are just beautiful because you do not get any heat on them when they're working. I mean, literally just bloop, you're up 10, 15 points in a matter of seconds. That's the attractiveness of it. At the same time, if they pause and reverse, now you are assuming more risk to know if this is going to work out or not. So that's that. That's me typing, Adam. Sorry about that. I thought I had my mic muted. All right. Well, guess what? We are heading toward Globex again. We're right there, actually. There you go. Takes away. And that's just basically what we're talking about. Is just this market is it's rough on people. That's why you got to make your money and just basically just sit on the sideline, let them fight it off and fight it out. And you are Basically, just watching it. Where we at? We are in a in sync environment where the 200 and the 100 are in sync on the long side. I mean, you're getting that type of behavior. I mean, I would wait for a rally back up, a disconnect of this transitional zone, then a reconnect of it. I mean, we're coming into Globex, and they're gonna play defense right here. That's what they're trying to do. It's interesting right here. They're putting the captain setup short. That would be a good spot if they place a switch trade. That would be a good one. Yeah, no, yeah, we need to see this one close lower. If that happens, that would be a good entry. I mean, I may try this, man. I may try this. If they close, I'm gonna cut it down to just two contracts. Here we go. Ah, nah, I didn't feel right. At oh 07 would have got us 5 points and break even at that point, but I'm not chasing that. That's fine. That's a switch trade. It moved. Let's see if we can get another rotation lower. And that is a trigger trade. That's another signal. And the expectation is to protect 21 and break into Globex into target number two, which is 85 half. And here it comes. But I mean, they may just defend it here. Yeah, they're defending it. Let's see if they put another switch trade. Yeah, they got to protect 21. So that trade, the switch trade that they put on at oh 07, they took it all the way to 900, and here comes the next behavior. So they're rotating here, and boom, two glowbacks. So that's hitting a target, and the second one would be the lower target at 85 half. All right, here it comes. So we're gonna get a little bit of that pressure. It's 10 o'clock right now. I promised you guys a story, and this is my second and final warning. If you're squeamish in any way, turn away from the screen right now. All right. So you guys know that I'm an avid. To the people that have been with me for a while, you know that I'm an avid archer, and I practice on a daily basis. And I go to this place called Texas Archery Association just about every weekend, and shoot as many arrows and as much time as I can. I just love the sport. I love the mental aspect of it. I love the physical aspect of it, and it's a joy for me to um, to do this on a daily basis. It just puts me in a zen mode. So yesterday I went to the range and I was in the process of finishing 100 arrows for the session. I was, you know, having a good time, and I came to the last 5 arrows of the day, and I was pulling on one of them, and right when I released the arrow, damn, look at this market. Yeah, that's a pretty one. That was a good one. Uh, right when I released the arrow, I heard the biggest explosion right next to my face, and I just it kind of like shook me. And I was like, man, what's going on here? What's happening? And I look around me, and at least for a second, and I saw everybody around me looking at me, and everybody started to part and walk away from me. I'm like, what's going on? And I look at my hand, and I had an arrow stuck in my hand. And it was just blood gushing all over the place. And I mean, I have not seen people run away as fast as they did. Everybody just took off in different directions, you know? And I'm bleeding away. And they start yelling to the administrators of the place. They came in and took me to the back, and I was bleeding all over the place. And then they started getting the medical kits out and trying to bandaging me. And it was just a fountain of stuff just flowing all over the place. So finally, they bandaged me to where I was not bleeding as bad, and I just sat down, drank a lot of water. They're gonna call an ambulance, and I just kind of elected not to do that. I was like, okay, I'll just walk. I'll walk myself to the ambulance. I like not the ambulance, but to the ER. Got in a car, drove back home, went to my family. They bandaged me up. Then I got in touch with a couple of nurses that are, relative of the family, and they told me you have to immediately, because I showed them the pictures, and it's like you are crazy. You really need to go to the emergency room right now. Otherwise, you're gonna lose your arm, your hand. And I was like, okay. So I end up going, and at the end of the story, there is a lesson, but here goes. If you're squeamish. So that's how an arrow in the hand would look like. I took the arrow out of my hand. A nice little bullet hole that just, and the doctor, when he was suturing me up, he was like, man, you're lucky because that almost went right through your your um, your hand. So that's the one. If you wanna, if you're gonna get a close up, a perfect arrow, perfect circle from an arrow, and they sutured me up with two sutures here, and that's me telling them what's wrong with me. That's the piece of the arrow that just went through, basically through my hand. I was like, what's your symptoms? Arrow in hand. Like, that was funny to me at that point. So I went back and I was like, how did this ever happen? Like, why did I have a catastrophic, and what actually ended up happening is there's something in life called the tyranny of small decisions. There are small decisions that you make in life and in trading that you don't think they are a big deal. They're benign, not a big deal. But over time, that inefficiency or that little decision becomes such an impact. And that's what happened in this case. Is I fletch my own arrows, meaning that I put the veins on my own arrows. I customize them. So in the process of doing that on that arrow, I took a sander and I actually sanded the body of the shaft to make it easy for my my feathers to actually stick to the arrow. That small itty bitty decision that I made there, not thinking about it and not knowing about it, ended up shaving enough of the carbon to make the arrow weak. That specific arrow I shot 1,500 times, meaning that same arrow I shoot one target after that. So over time and over pressure and the weakness of that shaft ended up me just shooting it, it blew up. It blew up, and that piece came lodging into my hand, and the other piece of the arrow flew, and I couldn't, and like, I wasn't even looking at it for it because I'm busy stopping the bleeding that I had. So that has made me think like a small decision that I made that I didn't think much about led to these consequences. And I have to tell you, I thank my lucky stars that, and I'm counting my blessings because I did not lose any function of my arm, and it got so deep that it almost went the other end of my hand, but it didn't hit any of it hit a vein, but it didn't, or so that's I'm still bleeding, but um, it didn't didn't break any tendons, didn't so I still have mobility, and that is just a blessing because this could have went really bad for me, you know. So the decisions you make, as small as they are, always look into them and see what could have been the impact of a decision like that over time. And the same thing goes into trading, like uh, not putting a stop and or not adhering to a stop. You may get lucky once, twice out of 10 times. You may not get stopped and the trade will go in your favor 9 out of 10. But that one time the market just continues to go, will wipe out an account. So that is a decision. You may not think of it as a big deal, or you're getting rewarded on not taking a stop, but it has a consequences. Okay. Another thing, not preparing in the morning adequately, right? For example, if you don't have enough sleep in the morning and you end up going and trading, not a big deal by itself because I mean, okay, I didn't sleep 8 hours, all right. Eh, and sometimes you just trade just fine, but because you're tired, your effectiveness in trading becomes less. So over time, if it becomes a habit, that will end up getting you in places where you should have taken a stop or should have taken a profit, but you didn't take it because you're tired and you're not sharp mentally. So that is a decision that has a consequences that eventually ends up in a hole in your hand or a hole in your account. And if there's any lesson for me is to re-examine my assumptions about archery, and I learned from this experience what I have to do now in order for me not to experience this again. Period. Okay. So I have to kind of make sure that every time I shoot an arrow, I have to make sure that there's no other impact on it. I have to flex it, I have to spin it, and I have to make sure it's still operational with no damage whatsoever to it. Otherwise, if it has a nick on it, don't even touch it. Just throw it away. It's better. to throw it away than having a catastrophic event like this happen. I got lucky, but that arrow could have went into somebody else and killed him. It could have hit me the other in a wrong way, or lost my arm, or lost my eyesight, or something. Okay, so say you make the same assumptions in your trading. Go in there and look how you prepare for your day. You look how disciplined you are in your stops and taking them, and look at how you view the market from the perspective of entry, exit, and make sure every assumption that you're making every step of the way has a statistical probability of success over time, and it doesn't have inefficiencies that will come down to haunt you just like that. And Ken, I shot the arrow, nobody else shot it, and it just disintegrated at a weak point, and part of the arrow dove into my arm. So that's my lesson for the day. It definitely could have been a whole lot worse. I could have hit a nerve. I mean, I'm telling you, I can count my blessings. I literally can count my blessings for not getting hurt a lot worse than I did. Like, I'm sitting here still, bleeding a little bit and stuff like that, but it's a lot. It could have been a lot worse. No, Chima, I ended up getting an arrow got shot into my hand. Oh yeah, I'm very lucky in that regard. Um, Blessed that it was not any worse than it was. But yeah, there's lesson in everything, and I can tell you one thing that I learned about myself when that happened. Everyone around me was freaking out, like literally freaking out. People were running all over the place, trying to figure out what to do, who to call, and they start getting medical equipment and trying to get me in one spot. And I was as calm could be. I was looking at my hand bleeding out, and one lady was telling me, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I was like, "No, no, I'm not okay. I have a hole in my hand and I'm bleeding." And but I looked at it and I was like, "Oh, how interesting is this? I have a hole in my hand right now and it's bleeding." Like, almost like I'm thinking about it from the outside in, like it's not me who's bleeding, but somebody outside of me looking at my arm bleeding, and like a sense of detachment away from your body. And it was very eerie how that felt at that moment. But it was a very calming, because I did not panic. I was like, okay, I see all this blood. I think I'm going to be okay. I just need to go through the steps of: first, calm down; second, breathe; third, get some water so you could stay conscious; fourth, get medical equipment; six, relax, call people that you know to make sure that they know what happened so you could go back to them and they expect you. Then I went through the rest of the process. And me not panicking, I think, made it a lot easier on me and everybody else. And in trading, you will find yourself at times in a bad spot for many reasons. And it's very, very important for you and me, as I trade, to always be in a centered state of mind and be calm and say, okay, well, I have a situation here where I need to work right through it. What do I need to do to get a positive outcome? I have a drawdown in my trading. What should I do to get out of that drawdown? You're making decisions based on calm state of mind, and not out of sheer panic of the fact that you have a hole in your hand or you have a hole in your account, and you're trying to figure out a way out of it, but you're panicking about it. So calmness think straight. That's absolutely right. And a bit of detachment from the outcome is what is needed in order for you and me to be in a state where you could rationalize what to do next in an effective way. So, I mean, that's kind of the story, what I went through this weekend. And according to the doctor, and that's another two things. They prescribed antibiotics and pain medicine. I'm not taking the pain medicine. I may take the antibiotics just to kind of keep myself from getting an infection. But beyond that, they told me basically stitches about a week, 7 days to 10 days, and after that, depending on how you heal, 2 weeks to a month, and you should be back to normal. And they suggested I go to a specialist and just make sure that I didn't tear anything that that is they cannot see. They took X-rays, a bunch of other things, but they couldn't necessarily see inside because the X-rays would just take the bone fractures, if any, but not necessarily any soft tissue damage. So or tendon damage. But I can do this, which is actually tells me that I can still have mobility. So I'm blessed. Thank the good Lord that it was not any worse. And I'm looking forward to going to archery again. And that's the key. I'm not gonna let an event like that take the joy, my joy of doing archery. It's just now I'm equipped with the knowledge of what could go wrong, and I need to put a process to prevent that from ever happening again, which means I gotta take care of these arrows and rotate them and make sure that they don't get worn out. And if any signs of wearing out, chunk them, because a $15 arrow is not worth your life or a life of somebody else. It's just simply not worth it. So that's it for me on that one. Thank you guys for listening to that little rendition, but I felt like I needed to share it with you. And we are here making money. So let's keep on making money. I'm a right-handed, yeah, Adam. So at least it wasn't my good hand, right? Yeah. So the clicking hand where I trade is my right hand. So that one is still good and running. And that's why I'm in a way I took those two trades. I was like, okay, I'm up money. I'm not 100%. Okay, I mean it's needless to say, I'm not 100%. Physically, I'm recovering. So it's important for me to kind of be conscious of my state, either mentally or physically, because I need to bring the highest level to the market every single day. If I'm not well, rested and I have a hole in my arm, I'm recovering from, me trading, putting 10 trades and actively trading may not be a best choice for me. So that this is kind of partly why I took a good, couple of good trades and just kind of, in a way, called it. And $1,600 is not a bad haul for the day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And this, I'm always leery about taking antibiotics because it has an effect on the on your flora, your stomach flora. But it's one of those things that I have to respect the doctor's knowledge on this one, and it's important for me not to self-medicate without really truly knowing, what could go wrong here. So the antibiotics I'll take, but the painkillers I can just stomach this and deal with it. I'll take the pain here, but yeah, no, I know, yeah, I know you're not. I'm saying, I have a problem with them. I personally do because it's just I will only take medicine if I truly truly need it, and absolutely, absolutely makes sense. Yanis, makes sense. All right, so 200 and 100 are in sync on the short side, and we're looking to see. So I mean, see what they're doing. Let's take a look at the 200 in tier income. They ran it up. You think the world is that's it? They found the bottom. They're ready for rally to the highs. Well, guess what? Not anymore. They come back and close it at 65 and multiple continuation trades. They get and test glowbacks. They try to show a reversal that fails, and now you're getting a churning price action lower. So ultimately, you are getting a, a two-sided market around glowbacks, and that is a consolidative market. And that market is simply rotating around that number. Eventually, sometime today, I hope that we get a meaningful move that breaks away from this range. I mean, it's either going to obviously be anything above 13,050 or you get anything below that 750 to 12,750. So eventually the market will get there and you'll get a meaningful run. But right now, I'm following the 200 and the 100, and it does an excellent job at keeping me in the right direction of the market. And when the market gets out of sync, it keeps me away from it, and I'll wait for it to get back in sync before jumping back in. And that tends to keep me from getting stuck anywhere. So Chima, hold on, I'm sending you a message, man. All right, so an important thing happening here. You're getting this cap. Look at this. That's how you really just jack with people. I'm telling you, man. They're putting a captain setup long. It's a six-prong captain setup on the 100 NT Rinko. That expectation is to trade above Globex in the next 10 minutes. That's what the expectation of this type of rotation is, to see a burst of energy above 94 into the whole number. But uh, it's just one of those things that I rather be in a position where the market is at 917. Look at that. Here you go. I mean, that is a classic type of behavior. You get six prong captain set up. Yeah, I mean, that is just like literally an entry at 81 into the 901. But ultimately, I got to stick to a more conservative approach for today. And that would be, I need to see the price action break 918. And that would lead me to a rotation where I can look for pullbacks as a buying opportunity on the long side. If that happens right now, the market is simply just out of sync. But I like the fact that we put on this captain setup and look at what today has brought us, because that's very important. I mean, is that, yeah, look at that. How many captain setups we experienced today, and what was the outcome of each and single one of them? Captain setup number. I mean, you even could go in at Sunday and see what happened, kind of to be consistent. Okay, so captain setup short right here. Entry 66. You went all the way down to 40. 21 points on that one actually. This one, captain setup short at 42, all the way down to 742. That's 100 points, right? This captain setup is captain setup long. You are at 92 all the way to 73. So you're looking about 80 points. This one is a captain setup short. And they came and almost got us at that one up there. But they failed, and the failure was a good one there. And you got 906 all the way now to basically 70 points. And we have a six prong captain set up. So I said at a minimum, you could see one to two candles up, and that will take you to 906 to 920. And you could see how the 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 wicks are higher low one after the other. So that was partly what the reason why I said, okay, we should be hitting Globex in the next 10 minutes, and it happened within the next 10 seconds. Yeah, good job, Ken. Good job. Um, okay, so Randolph, on your question, on my data series, I load. I mean, okay, so on the 200 in Tirinko, I load 15, but on the 20 in Tirinko, I usually load like less data, about 5 days, and I don't have session template. I just keep it zeroed out on that one. So that's the answer to that one, Randolph. And here they come. So the captain setup on the 100 NT Rinko gave us 1.5 candles, two above Glovax, and then they put a captain sub switch trade here and flushed it. So that's definitely not behaving like any of the ones that we saw earlier. That's getting really tested. Yeah, absolutely, Randolph. Absolutely, man. All right, Ken. I got confidence in you. You'll make it. One good trade. All right. Be green and be gone. Yeah, here you go. That switch trade again. So back to that scenario that we were talking about. A new transitional zone, and so basically they put on a spear trade and they closed the market at 60 right here, and then came back disconnected and reconnected right here with a switch trade, and that's just literally what I'm looking for. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Looking for that disconnect and reconnect and that type of behavior. Now you're getting a continuation trades that could be popping in here and another push lower. Ultimately, the 200 and the 100 are in sync on the short side. So that trade will be 40 to 20 or close to it, actually. It got close to it, but didn't quite get there. ES, let's talk ES. I mean, we established a new transitional zone right here, and we're reacting to it. Ultimately, this is a short rotation that started with that collapse of that cloud, and the shorts need to protect 4114. And look at that. Wow. That's a quick burst back up. So definitely the shorts are pausing here. I'm looking at 200 and the 100 on NQ. They're out of sync, and you're getting out of sync behavior in ES. So basically, you're getting a market that is just trying to figure out its footings. It's not directional. Yeah, Randolph. Okay, just to so people are still you understand the conversation we're having. Randolph was saying he has no active trades today, other than the no decision patient trade. So taking a no trade is a trade; it's a decision. Being patient is a decision, and that is considered a trade. And those are trades that are, in many times, are very lucrative, and it shows discipline and focus and the ability not to FOMO, and that is important. So the capacity of somebody to look at the market and say, I do not want to participate today because it does not look right to me. That is a very good characteristic to have in trading. That means that you are not pulled and pushed in the emotions of the market, and you're willing to stick to your guns and say, unless I see a market that I clearly recognize and feel comfortable with, then I am not participating. As long as also, once the market gets there, that you are decisive and you act, because you cannot let patience and no decisions be a disguise for the lack of decision making process. So there's a balance there, right? But it's definitely a start of self control, that you see a market and you say, okay, too choppy. I've seen this before. I don't want to play. What is this market gonna do right now? It's just playing around Globex. It pushed. You look at what it has done. It's just they're playing footsie. They're playing footsie with this market. They take it above Globex, then they take it under Globex, and it gives you the impression of a trend. Then they fade that impression into the middle of the range, and that is a market that you want to undertrade. When the 100 and the 200 get in sync, I'm finding a great deal of opportunities that are just working with tight risk management, of course. Yeah, take care, Randolph. Oh, take care, man. Yeah, I was looking at that one. Which switch trade? 10, ooh, 41. Oh, that one right here. Yep. I saw that one. I was like, yeah, that's a good one. All right, Yanis. Good job, buddy. See you tomorrow. All right, guys. So it's 11 o'clock, and those are the two decisions that we made. We haven't taken any more. We're up 1642 to start us off for the month, and good work. And I'm going to go get some rest and heal up, and we will see you guys bright and early to tomorrow morning. How did we end up, Adam, Brian, Sheila, everybody in on stream? How did everybody do? Okay, that's manageable. Take care, Ken. Good, flat. Okay. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. You guys have a blessed one, and we will do this again tomorrow.